Welcome to Roman to Yoga. Make your way to your mat. Take a full body stretch. And place your hands at heart center. I invite you to set an intention for today's yoga practice. I invite you to focus on the word openness. Throughout today's practice, I'll give you some prompts to think about. Breathe in and breathe out. If you're using a strap today, grab it at this time. Note that you don't need any props while doing today's practice. They can just enhance or support you. Wrap the strap around your right foot. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift up. Lift and lower your foot a couple of times. Movement before stillness. Next time the foot lifts, pause. Breathe. And notice a micro bend in your knee. If you want a little bit more, extend your left leg long. The Sanskrit word for openness is asteya, openness. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Transfer the yoga strap to your left hand and lower your right foot towards your left ear. It's not a big movement. You should feel the stretch on the outside of your IT band. Turn your gaze to the left and place your arm in the T position. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. The classical definition of openness is non-stealing. I'll elaborate a little bit more on this later. Right now, focus your attention on this stretch. Lower your right foot towards the right. Open up. Take your gaze towards your left and extend your left arm long. Notice that your left hip doesn't come up off the mat. You can place your left hand onto your hips to notice that they are level. If they're not level, your body's signaling to you that you've gone a little bit far. And I invite you to back off. You don't need to open up all the way. Meet yourself where you're at because you are exactly where you need to be. Bring your right foot back to the neutral position. Take the strap and move it around your left foot. Hug your arms into your chest and lift and lower at your own breath's pace. Inhale, lift the foot up. Exhale, lower down. You've been here before. Movement before stillness. Next time the leg lifts, pause and extend your right leg long if you want a little bit more. The practice of asteya and openness is a call to live in integrity in thought, word, and deed. Think about that. Is a call to live in integrity in thought, word, and deed. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. On your next breath, transfer the yoga strap to your right hand and begin to lower your left foot towards your right ear. Remember, this is not a big movement. You're not stacking the hips. You should just feel the stretch in your outer IT band. Take your gaze towards your left. Close your eyes and breathe. If you're in a small space, adjust yourself so you have plenty of room to lower that left leg towards the mat. If not, lower the foot down. Place your right arm in the T position. Take your gaze to the right. Remember, your hips should be level. If your right hip begins to creep up towards the ceiling, gently guide it back down. No need to open up so far. By being open to what is real and present, you refrain from robbing yourself of the richness of your reality. Your life opens up for self-inquiry. Do you practice self-inquiry? Do you take a look inward for your life? Remove your yoga strap. Draw your knees in towards your chest and gently rock from left to right a few times. Create space in the top and bottom rows of teeth. No need to clench the muscles in your face. Soften the muscles. Lower your feet down. In the easiest way for you, come to a hands and knees position. Now, if you want to take off your socks because you know you'll slide around everywhere, please do so at this time. Grab your blocks if you're using them today. Step your right foot forward in between your hands and feel the stretch in your hips. Place a bend in your left knee and clasp onto it with your right hand. You can look behind your right shoulder, or you can look down at the ground. Whatever feels best for you, because remember, this is your yoga practice. I invite you to consider openness in your yoga practice today, in your speech, and most importantly, on your actions when you're off the mat. It can be easy to be very open when it's just you, but it can be hard when you're out in the real world. Release the pose. Extend the right leg long. Flex your ankle. Grab your yoga blocks and take your gaze down towards your hands. Adjust your blocks as needed. I want you to notice that you're hip hinging forward and you're not crunching your upper back. We spend so much time crunching over our desks and our phones, not in our yoga practice. Let's lengthen out your spine. Gently wiggle your toes and focus your attention on the right here and the right now. Release the pose and place a bend in your knee. Now walk your right foot over towards your right and place both hands on the inside of your right foot. Notice the top of the left foot has lowered down onto the mat. Open and close the right knee a few times. And as your body tells you, open up the right knee and find stillness. Feel the stretch in your hips. Do you ever want something from your yoga practice when it's not realistically available in your body today? Are you open with yourself about this? Can you just commend yourself for making your way to your mat? Because the reality is, that's the hardest part. Release the pose, return to hands and knees, lower the belly down, inhale, round the spine. Cat and cow a few times. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, release. Lower down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, release, and lower down. On your next breath, step the left foot forward. Step it in between your left and right hand. If you want a little bit more, take your left hand and clasp onto your right foot. Try your best not to rest on your knee. Come a little bit more forward. You can take your gaze behind your left shoulder, or you can look down at the ground, whatever feels best in your neck. But the most important thing is to remember to breathe. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through your mouth. Inhale through your nose. And exhale through your mouth. Know that you're in the last few moments of this posture, so try your best to not think about what is to come. Release the pose and extend your left leg long. If you're using props today, your blocks to frame your knee, hip hinge forward, flex your left ankle, create space in your toes. Just gently wiggle them out. Engage your low belly and breathe deeply. Do you ever rob yourself or others of experiences? Do you ever rob yourself of your time? Release the pose and walk your hands on the inside of the left foot. Walk your left foot towards the outside of the mat and open and close the left knee a couple of times. You'll spin out onto the left side of your foot. So not quite all four corners of the foot will come up off the mat, but the nice portion of your foot. Next time the knee opens up, find stillness. And notice that your right foot isn't curled under, but the top of your foot is resting onto your yoga mat. Breathe in and breathe out. Be open with yourself and with your body where you're at today. Find your edge. Remember, sensation, never pain. Release the pose. Draw the knees together, the feet together. Rest the top of the feet onto the mat. Sit the hips back onto the heels. Walk your hands forward and rest your forehead down onto the mat. Close your eyes and relax into child's pose. Digest everything you just did. Breathe in and breathe out. Firmly press the hands into the mat and return to hands and knees. Lift your right hand up towards the ceiling and thread it through. Rest your right shoulder onto the floor and walk your left hand forward. Notice that your feet don't creep into one another. If you feel your right foot coming in towards your left or your left foot coming right, gently guide them back to hip width distance apart. Yoga postures can look so easy and simple, but just keep refining. Be open with what you need to do. Close your eyes. Drag the left hand down towards the left shoulder and return to hands and knees. Lift the left hand up towards the ceiling and thread it through the right. Walk your right hand forward and become aware if your toes are creeping in towards one another. Gently guide them back to hip width distance apart. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. Notice that your left palm is flipped up towards the ceiling. Your right palm is touching the earth. Drag your right hand down towards your right shoulder. Firmly press into the ground beneath you. Curl your toes under. Sit your hips back onto your heels. Sit up straight. And take a few shoulder rolls. Inhale and exhale slowly. Bring a little bit of space into your body. Close your eyes. On your next breath, sit down onto the mat. Extend your legs forward, flex your ankles, and draw all four corners of the right foot into the left thigh. Walk the hands forward, hip hinge forward. Draw your low belly in and up, and bend and straighten your elbows a couple of times. Movement before stillness. And as you are ready to hold the posture, find stillness. Remember, no rounding in your upper back. A strong, tall, lengthened out spine. Keep squeezing your shoulder blades together. If you want a little bit more, grab onto your toes. But if you feel a lot of rounding in your upper back, please don't. Release the pose. Extend the right leg long. Press all four corners of the left foot into the right thigh. Walk your hands down towards the mat. Bend and straighten a couple of times. Or go right into grabbing onto your right foot. Remember, this is your yoga practice, so you don't need to look like me, your neighbor. You just need to look like you. I just want to tell you all the time, over and over, you're exactly where you need to be because you're right here. You're making time for you. You're making time to put space in your body, and things will open up over time. And even if they don't, who cares? You're taking care of you. Breathe in and breathe out. Step your feet to the wide edge of the mat, lower your knees to the right, and then lower your knees to the left. Take a seated windshield wipe a few times and smile to yourself softly. A reminder, today we covered asteya, which is openness. The classical definition is non-stealing. Find stillness and pick the right foot up and place it just above the left knee. Circle the ankle in one direction. On your next breath, circle the ankle in the opposite direction. Create space in your toes. Release the pose. Pick up your left foot and place it just above your right knee. Circle your ankle in one direction. Notice if this feels any different than the opposite. And then circle your foot in the opposite direction. You're not passing judgment. You're just being open with yourself, collecting some data on you. You are your best teacher. I am only here to guide you into the postures. On your next breath, lower down towards the floor. Place your hands at heart center. Press all four corners of the feet into one another and let the knees lower down towards the ground. Clasp your hands up overhead and turn your head to look left and right a couple of times. After you've turned from left and right a few times, find your next neutral position. Close your eyes and come back to the words of openness. The practice of openness is a call to live your life with integrity in thought, word, and deed. What does that mean to you? How can you find integrity in your thought? How can you find integrity in your words? And how can you find openness and integrity with your deeds? These are all questions of self-inquiry. There are no wrong answers, just your answers. Release the pose, clasp onto your feet, draw your knees towards your underarms in happy baby pose. Draw your chin down and back and imagine lengthening out through the crown of your head. See if you can draw your knees a little bit closer to your underarms. Know that you are in the last moments of your yoga practice. Then you can go on with all the things that keep coming up during your practice. Release the pose and make your way to a comfortable seated position. Draw your hands to heart center and always, always commend yourself for making time for you. I learned all this from the book The Yamas and the Niymas and through my yoga teacher training at Jane's House of Wellbeing. Let me know what kind of yoga videos you would like to see. Thanks, and have a wonderful day.